guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in again. Today is kind of a part 2 of the last video. If you caught that one, our car was making a popping sound. So you guys could probably hear it in that clip, the popping that was coming through the tube on the cold air intake. I ended up taking it off in the last video and it seemed to make it stop. The only thing with that is, of course, you get lights and stuff on the dash because you have no intake attached to your engine anymore. But as soon as I put it back on, it was right back. Not as bad as it was originally, but it is still there, still popping. I checked once again before I decided to do this video, and yes, it is still doing it. So what I'm going to do today is switch the original cold air intake back onto the car, take the JLT one off, and tune the car back to the stock tune. That will just let me know if it is something to do with the throttle body or if it is something to do with the tune. So once I switch it over, same thing as the last video, I'll take her out, drive it around a little bit, pop the hood and see if we can hear the noise on the stock box. If it is, then it's an issue most likely with the throttle body is getting stuck or just not opening or closing quite right. And then it's Ford's problem. I'll leave it stock, bring it in. I'm sure they'll know that we tuned it. They can tell. If not, even better, they can swap the throttle body out or give me a new one and I'll do it myself. And hopefully that will take care of the issue. But for now, we're going to see if my theory is right. Okay, so like you guys seen in the clip, it was kind of popping. You can hear it right through the tip here. Obviously, filter's in the way, but you can still hear it popping through there. So I'm thinking it is the throttle body. And the tube just kind of enhances it. That's why when I took it off, started the car, you couldn't really hear it. It might have been ticking a little bit, but because it's not echoing in here, this kind of makes it like a blowhorn or whatever you want to call those things, and enhances it so it's easier to hear, and then it just does a little pop out the end. So what I'm doing in this video basically is checking if it is actually the throttle body that's messing up, or if it is the tune that's a little out of whack and is just throwing the throttle body off, because it is all electronically controlled. If you come to this side, I know it's dark, kind of hard to see, but you have your little gear and computer brain on that side. So if the tune somehow is messing with that, it could screw it up. So like I said, we'll get the stock box back on. I got it right here. You can see I got the sensor swapped over already. I'm not going to bore you guys with the whole removal and install. If you want to check that out, go look at the JLT install video I got. Then we'll flash the stock tune back on once the intake is in, drive the car, and see if she solves the problem. So for now, get this ripped out. And with the magic of television, stock one is back in. Super simple. This took me less than 10 minutes. Obviously, when filming, and if you're installing the JLT originally, got to pay attention to what you're doing, but once you know what you're doing, very simple. I left the filter and everything attached to that one. The box is here. Literally, all you got to do, you got one bolt here, make sure the rubber gasket comes out with it. You got a little guide right here. It's got to go in the rubber gasket here, so don't lose that. Your sensor, obviously, one little clip here. Same on the JLT, just pop it off, a little Christmas tree clip. Two hoses, one here. This extra little piece here, if you still have your sound tube, you'll have to delete that or take it off as well. I got mine deleted, so don't have to worry about that. And then one clamp that goes to your throttle body. So for that, this is it. Now we can jump in the car. I'll show you guys how to flash the tune back to stock, and then we'll take her out for a drive and see if we got any improvements here. All right, so back in the car, make sure it's off. Don't have accessory mode or anything on. I know I still have an N gauge. I lucked out and got one of the last few. You can still find them on Facebook and stuff once in a while if you're wanting one. I have it set to turn off with the car, so when I come in, it's all off. Nothing happens. Just turn it on, give it a tap. It'll wake it back up. Then we'll let it load up here for a second, and it should go to your screen like this. We're obviously tuning. You can see here, it says tuning in the middle. Hit that. We're not going to load a tune because that is where, if you got your A85 tune, or like us, we have a 93 tune, that is where those are. What we want is load stock. That's this one here. Just hit the arrows down. Originally, when you tune the car, the N gauge will save your stock file in case you're doing something like we're doing today and need to put it back to stock. It's all in here ready to go. So you can see, select stock tune, stock file, hit the arrow yes, flash this tune. Yes, we want to do that. It'll load her up. Approximately 6 minutes. Hit the yes arrow again. Turn key on, do not start engine. So now you hit the power and let it do its thing. So while we sit here and wait, the reason I'm doing this is just to kind of troubleshoot myself. Like I say in all my videos, I do everything by myself. I want to learn how things go and what they do. I've been talking to a couple people. Shout out to Jason, he knows who he is if he's watching this video. Him and his friends are thousands of miles away from me and they're still helping out. I guess a couple of his buddies had the same issue and it was the throttle body. That's why I'm thinking that's what it is. But I'm just flashing the tune off of the car and putting everything back to stock to see if it is actually the throttle body itself that's beginning to fail, or if it is, like I said, the tune is somehow thrown off and it's causing the throttle body maybe to open or close when it shouldn't be open or closed. So this way you eliminate the one. Once I get this up, like I said, we'll go for a cruise. If it's still there, now we know, okay, the throttle body itself is going. I can either go to Ford, tell them to replace it. If they won't because the car is tuned, I can always order a new one because the car does run still. It's not to the point where the car won't run. It does stutter and stall once in a while, but it still goes. So I can drive the car while I wait for parts. Option 2, I could grab a upgraded throttle body and add that to the car. Only thing with that is I would have to change the tune as well, because obviously when you get a bigger throttle body, you got to mess with your tune along with it. Otherwise, it'll throw the car out of whack as well. And we'll be stuck in the same area we are now. So it is almost done flashing back to the normal tune. We'll see what she does afterwards. We'll get out on the road, take her for a drive. I'll pop the hood out there somewhere again and see how she does. All right, so you can see it's all done. Tells you to turn the car off for 10 seconds. You can see all your lights and stuff come on again, same as when we flashed the car originally, just because it scares the vehicle. But we'll turn it off. It says wait 10 seconds and then start the vehicle. So we'll wait our 10 seconds here. All right, 10 seconds, fire it up. Hit the arrow. That's all done. Hood's ajar, hood's still open. You can see all the rest of the lights are gone. Everything seems to be back to normal, working. No hiccups, no nothing like that. So we are in the garage with the door closed, so I don't want to fumigate the house. Turn it off. Seems to be all working. N gauge should turn off again now by itself because the car is off. So let's go for a drive. So you guys can hear it is still ticking. And it's definitely out of the box or out of the throttle body. So that will solve that problem. It is starting to rain. We'll get back in here. But yeah, she is still ticking away. Like last time, it's not as bad. I don't know if it's right after it's been driven, it doesn't seem to do it quite as bad, but I know if we sit here for a minute, it's about every 10-15 seconds she'll pop. So I will book her into Ford, I guess, is the next option here, and keep you guys posted with what goes on with that. As for the coolant issue, stay tuned for the next video. I'll fill you guys in on that. along with, like I said, we bought the new coolant tanks. We'll be installing that. Hopefully something gets figured out here, because it's not, like I said, it's not really taking away like performance out of the car necessarily. It does still run. You can open her up, like I say. I didn't even notice it until I happened to have the car running and pop the hood like this, and then you hear it, because you can't hear it from in here. It's not that loud of a pop. So most likely throttle body issues, but like I said, I'll order, or I'll book an appointment at Ford. We'll get her in there and I'll fill you guys in when the time comes with what's going on, what they changed. If they changed it, let's see if they know if the car is tuned or not. We'll see that. And yeah, just a little bit of a pain in the butt, but at least she's still running. So stay tuned. If you want to see what happens, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss it. Bell notification, all that fancy YouTube stuff. And hopefully if you're having the same issue, by the time this is all done, I help you figure out your own car. Like I said, if you have a tune, take it off like I did. There's a chance that possibly the tune is messing with it. I went with Lund, if you guys didn't know that already, and they're obviously really well known, so I wasn't really expecting it to be the tune necessarily, but you know, there's always the chance. This is the easy way to test first without bugging Ford, getting appointments and all that. Like I said, it was a 10-minute swap out of the air intake and flashing a new tune on there, so 20 minutes altogether, and we got another thing checked off the list. So stay tuned. I'll let you know what happens eventually when I get it figured out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Same as always, thumbs up, subscribe. If this happened to you, drop a comment, let me know what happened, and I hope to see you guys in future videos. Thanks for watching, everybody.